Hello, 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 and welcome everybody. Oh, whoopsie, I'm small. Wait, what? What
You're
happened?
not really, Max. You're not small.
I am very small. Welcome everybody. I am little. Wait, how tall are you, Polly?
5'9".
Yeah, I'm 5'7". So that's kind of on a good day. 5'6" on a regular day. So 5'6.5".
Yeah.
So anyway, hello. Make sure you're in the middle of the screen there,
Oh,
Polly.
I was saying
You
hello
always
to my dog
end up
so that
going
he
like
doesn't
that.
start harassing the bunnies.
Oh, well, I have cats running all around, and welcome everybody. Michelle on app says, I'm 5'1", so I
Cool.
gotcha. Oh boy, I gotta make sure I record. Hold on, record to the cloud. Okay, there you go. All right, there we go. Okay, so welcome to the Positive Principle. The cats are losing their mind. You can't see it, but the cats are losing their mind. Your dog's
So you
losing their
can see
mind.
it.
You can see, oh, there.
Yeah.
See the paper. So if you're just listening to us on the podcast, you can't see it, but that's a good reminder to make sure that you come to the podcast on Tuesday afternoons and watch us. Come to Haps, so it's great. All right. Hello, Mel from Sydney. Hello, Miranda. Hello, Keep It Spiritual. Hello, everybody. It's great to have you here. Yeah. So, what's up, Polly?
Not much. I thought that who Keep It Spiritual was saying, like, come on, keep it spiritual, get the topic going.
Well,
Enough
we
of the pleasantries.
that's Keep It Spiritual's name on YouTube. So
Yeah, now I got it.
got it.
Got it.
Great to have you here, everybody. We do have a topic that we kind of talked about before. But let's do a little update. Do a little update. What's going on with you, Polly?
Not much. I mean, it's really lovely here. I haven't gone for my hike yet because now with the time change, because Arizona doesn't change, so now it's 9 o'clock here, and I don't want to have to get up early enough to hike before to be back here in 9. So you're getting me pre-hike, which sometimes I'm a little crankier.
Oh, okay. I got it. I understand. Is the pre-hike Polly easy peasy?
Not as much. I'm much more like, let's get things done. That. Right after my hike, I'm much calmer. I'm like, except last week it was when the coyote ruckus was happening, but
The coyote.
the
The
coyote.
coyote. The
Yeah.
coyote. I love the coyote. I love it. I love it. Um, let's see a little update. Update is that for the last 2 days, there's a moth in my apartment somewhere, and we don't know where, but the girls find the moth and they lose their mind when the moth starts flying around. We don't even know where it goes. And right now the moth just came back. So but here's an update. Today I get my COVID shot, my COVID
Yay.
vaccine. So, and people are like, which one are you getting? Which one are you getting? I literally, Polly, I don't know which one I'm getting. I just was like, there's an opportunity. Last week, I was like, ding, 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 just did it. I still don't really know which I'm getting, the one or two, the wooksa wooksa or the booksa booksa. I'm just gonna get one of them. So I'm doing that today, which I'm excited. I guess I'm just
doing it this week also. I think Thursday evening.
okay. And do you know which one you're getting?
The Johnson & Johnson, because I wanted one.
The one shot and done.
Yeah.
The easy peasy one.
The easy peasy, you know me.
Easy
Hey,
peasy.
you know what? I
Hey,
have
what?
a little bit of a different topic. Do you mind if we do that instead of our plan?
Our life? Yes. Oh, that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can listen.
Okay.
This is all an improv show, so
It is
it's all
totally.
good.
Okay, so you know that show that has been on Netflix, Surviving Death?
I've heard about it, and last night I saw it, and everyone's like, "You got to see it. You got to see it." I haven't watched it yet, so.
Yeah, some of it's pretty cool, but they have like maybe the third episode, they have a thing on on physical versus mental mediumship, and they follow this. They have this woman anyhow. So that's one aspect. And I actually did. Have you ever seen physical mediumship done?
Oh, yeah, in real life.
Yeah. Okay. So me too. Like it was crazy. I took this little class for a while until the guy was like so Looney Tunes. I was like, okay, I'm out of here. You know, where they tape the door. You know, they tape everything. It's in the dark, and it was pretty crazy. I mean, but I did see some crazy things, right? Like things. It was kind of crazy. That's how I'll just close it at that. It was crazy.
So you probably should explain to the listeners and the viewers what physical mediumship is.
Yeah, so physical mediumship, even if I get this right, but it is when you can, so whoever is the medium, the physical medium, they actually sit in something called a cabinet, so it's dark, and I guess often they will make it where that person can't move from their chair so that they can't, because it's all about creating, having some type of like you can make these things called trumpets, which are just like these aluminum things. They're shaped like a dunce cap. But you can make the trumpets move, or you can create things. Where I was, they were creating gems. But I did see the trumpets move. The creating gems, I was always like, I'm not so sure. And then you can hear, like the trumpets will speak. That's another thing. But it's so weird. Like at that point, I was like, well, why use a trumpet to speak when you can just have a regular medium just share the information clearly? But anyhow, so I experienced that a few times, and it was interesting. But on the show, there's this person going around, and he has all these different medium readings, different types of mediums, just like what you and I do, and the medium spiritual, or anyhow, all these different mediums. And so the one that was the physical medium, she was from Holland, and she came to the US, and she did a reading. And so when she does her readings, spirits speak through her, like she's in a trance and they speak through her. And I guess this one was a trance mediumship. And so the spirits were speaking through her and shared information. But then after the reading, the guy was like, well, that wasn't enough, because you can really find out any of this stuff on YouTube. You can find out everything on Facebook or social media, right? You can find out those common details about anybody. And really everything that they pulled up, I mean, they showed on Facebook, like she could have found everything about these people. Do I think she did? Not necessarily. But it really was interesting because, like, I never think that you and I, do you ever think like somebody's like, oh, I'm trying to, I mean, it did happen to me once, but, you know, do we think that people are like, oh, I'm trying to trip him up, or he has to somehow prove his ability? Like, do you ever feel like somebody's trying to make
test?
Yeah.
It's trying to test us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel that, you know, on some level, on every reading, actually, I feel it a little bit. I feel a little bit, and maybe it's not so much a test, but it's a little bit like a skepticism. Like, it's a little bit. There's a little bit like, okay, prove it. Just even with the most accepting people, there's a little bit of the doubt. Prove it, testing kind of thing. I feel like some people that I've done are just like, they're just like, and you know, I think it's such an interesting topic. I mean, for me, I'm not there to prove anything, so I don't really care.
Right. And I don't really no, care. But that's the piece, is I think that's the difference. Like, I think if you, okay, so look at it this way, like the people that are chained down to their chair, they are literally, they want to prove that they are the real thing, right? Versus you and I are like, you know, right. I don't know what's going to come through, but we don't feel like we have to prove something. So I don't know that we attract that type of client that's like, right?
I agree. You know, in on the chat right now, Michelle says, I survived death 4 times and I don't talk about it much, but it's been on my mind lately. Not sure what a medium is. I'm truly interested in this topic. And she says, oh, okay, medium. I don't get the thing. Yeah. So medium is when somebody that's able to connect with people that have crossed over and give them messages, or physical mediumship or trans mediumship. There's some interesting stuff there. Sorry, I have to cough. there's a form of mediumship that it's like channeling, like transmediumship, but it literally is, and I've experienced this a few times with people. I've never done it myself because I'm like, I'm not interested. Is that I'm not sure, Paul, if you've ever seen this, and if anyone's ever seen this, where they do a transmediumship, where they're actually they let the spirit take over their body and they speak like the person and all this other stuff.
I've started that before, and it was so. It was actually when I was, one of the first things that happened to me when I had like my whatever we want to call it, was the ability. Like I was so open, and it would feel like these like I'll say entities or whatever like bump up against you. It's almost like if a cat lands on you. It feels like that, and then they're in you. And I used to get like sick to my like it would make me nauseous because it was such an intense thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one of the first things that started happening to me. But then I kind of and I know I could do it because I feel it right now, like I'd be able to do it, but I kind of backed away from it because at that point I had nobody to talk to. Like there was nobody to say, "Oh my God, this is going on." And so I was like going to record it on my laptop, but I didn't feel like I felt like I needed somebody with me because it really is a surrendering to the unknown.
Well, it's complete surrender, and it's very interesting, and it's really and if you experience it in real life, so it's like channeling at its ultimate, right? It's not just hearing and letting it go through.
No, it's
so there's a couple of times that I've experienced with people, really interesting, but where there's a specific name. I'm going to say it's transfiguration. I feel like that's the name of it, transfiguration, where literally you watch the person and their whole face starts to change, and their literal physicality becomes different. And then there's something called ectoplasm.
oh
That's a
right,
whole other thing with the ectoplasm
whole other thing,
situation where there's goo and it's like
whole other
it's pretty
thing.
crazy. But this all, I mean, a lot of this has to do with the Fox sisters, right?
Yeah,
So you know about the Fox sisters, of course, upstate New York, Lilydale, who
yeah,
were the ones that kind of brought the mediumship kind of thing with the trumpets and the raising of the table and the seances. They're the ones that kind of like brought it up in the mid 1800s, right? Late 1800s. But so much of that is about proof.
it is all about proof. And I have to say, like, I saw when I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I don't know how long it's been. I saw the trumpets. I saw them move. I saw them fly. I saw them, anyhow, I saw that, but it was the person that was like leading the whatever. I didn't trust him at all. Like I didn't trust him, and he was messed up just like in his own personal life. I did not trust him. And so like the creating of the jewels stuff, little gemstones, that part I was like, I can't buy it. I'm not buying it.
Yep. And you know that there's also this whole thing about a lot of people feel that people that have the ability to do this work are really people that have had a lot of damage in their life.
Oh,
So there's a psychological component too. So,
yes,
I feel like that it is a really interesting topic because, what we do is part of what I do and part of what you do is this. It's not all what we do. And I think it's interesting for people because I think that this is the charlatan thing. Oh, they're fakes. They're just screwed up people screwed up people that have psychological problems and whatever, or they are trying to just make some money off you, and I think that's and I think that it's been proven even in the fundamentalist Christian kind of world where they're like, oh, I want to get the woman whose house was sold and her father died and da 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 da. What's his name? Popov and all those guys that did that. And it was proven they had a little thing in their ear and they had filled out a form before, and the wife was in the back going, okay, the woman on the left, She's the
What?
one, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Peter Popoff. Look, you don't know this?
No.
Oh, come on. So, anyone look up and after this, I want you to look up Peter Popoff. He's one of those fundamentalist Christians who would know things that Jesus told me and da da da, and then I'm going to heal you. But the wife was literally in the back. When they would come into the auditorium, people would fill out information cards, and she'd go, "Okay, the woman on aisle 14, da 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 da, her house was taken away and her father died." Blah, blah. And he'd go, "Oh,
Jeez.
woman, you're..." And listen, that's in the church realm, but in the spiritual mediumship realm, it happens.
Well, and this guy I know was very talented. Like I know he was talented. I just know that he was so effing whatever unstable in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And like how it ended, like when I was just like, I can't do this anymore, because it was like a weekly, you know how you hold circle weekly. So I was doing that. But how it ended was, I think I told you this. So it was like
you told me a little bit of it, yeah.
Yeah, so we were doing whatever, by the cabinet, so to speak. And in the dark, because you tape everything. So you're like, if something happens, like say the place catches on fire, you're not going to get out of that place too quickly, because you have to untape. You take duct tape and you seal every window, you seal every door. And so you're in there, and I'm like, this guy's a little Looney Tunes anyhow. As my kids are home sleeping with my husband, I'm doing this thing. But anyhow, at the last time I was there, we were in front of the cabinet, which is just this little closed off thing with a curtain, like a tiny little booth, almost like a phone booth. And a plane flew overhead. And then he was like, something's not right. And I'm like, something's not right because the plane flew overhead, or something's not right? What do you mean something's not right? And then the guy kind of collapsed. And so I touched him. And at that point I had been, I used to be a nurse, and it wasn't that far out of my nursing career. So I was like touching him because I wanted to see what his pulse was like. And as soon as I touched him, I heard something, I was given a message like, it just didn't feel good. But then I heard something from my guys. I can't even remember what it was. And I was like, this is the last time I'm doing it. He's so unhealthy. He's so off his rocker. I mean, off his rocker is not the right way to say, but his energy was so not positive.
Right. And this is, when you hear, well, from religious groups and everything, like, don't mess around with that stuff because it's dangerous, right? And I think that this whole topic that you're bringing up is really important. Actually, it's really important because I think that, like you always say, Polly, it's like follow your intuition, because
the way you feel.
That's right. Because I think that I know that if there's a lot of show,
yes,
you gotta like step back and go,
yeah.
There's a show going on here, right? Mel says, I've seen that on TV. I was wondering if they're just acting. Well, it's been proven by some of these really great, mediums and stuff have been like acting, and there is techniques. You can learn techniques. Listen, anybody can learn techniques to replicate what, and it's called cold reading techniques. Do you know about that, Polly?
Yeah.
Right. So
I heard it last night on the show. Yeah.
Anybody can learn cold reading techniques. Anyone can do it. And but it's not real mediumship. It's not real mediumship. But it gives the people what they want.
Yeah, and I think so what Michelle said earlier, trust is better than proof. I think that's like what you just said, Max. One of the most important things is when we do mediumship readings, I think we channel the energy of that person that crossed, and the person can feel it. And I think honestly, that's the most important. That is the most important thing, is the energy that's shared.
I agree.
Because that is like you're sitting with your loved one, or you're sitting with a person in the same room, right? And that cannot be made up. That feeling cannot be made up.
No. It can't be made up. And, and just so everybody knows, if you're not, we're talking like we're, in our industry, basically. But there's a difference between a psychic reading and a mediumship reading. And traditionally, I think that Polly, you and I are very much, we blend them together.
Yeah.
And it depends. Sometimes you do a reading and it's all mediumship, and
Yes,
sometimes you do it, it's
absolutely.
all psychic work, you
Yep.
know. So psychic work is just connecting with that person's energetic line, what's happened to them in their life, what they need to work on, what my vibrations they're bringing with them in the moment, you know, and guiding them in that way. And a mediumship reading is definitely only talking to, you know, people that died. And so that's why I always say I'm not a medium, but mediumship can happen in my readings.
Yes, I totally agree with you because, and I think it's so like I was thinking about, I don't know, sometimes I think about this. Like, if somebody were to contact, I mean, every once in a while I get people that contact me and they just want a mediumship reading. And it's almost like you have to be in a little different, like you have to, you're you're opening differently. But what is interesting is if somebody on the other side wants to make contact because they know before we know that we're going to do a reading for somebody, they make contact with us before the reading usually. Like I'll feel it. Like for example, there was somebody who when she first scheduled on my scheduling link, this person came forward to get in touch with her, right? So they know before we do, and then I knew, okay, well, I know that this reading will have some mediumship. But I
Right.
totally agree. Like,
Mm-hmm. And everyone's so different. You know, this is like, you know, it's kind of like my training as an actor. It's like every actor has their own. This is your instrument, right?
yeah.
So everyone's different. And so some people are really, I think, tuned into the mediumship side.
Mhm.
Some people more in the psychic side. It all depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, and honestly, I don't think that I've ever. Well, no, I'll take that back. I was going to say I don't think that anyone's come to me before reading, like, you know, a grandmother, aunt, or
Yeah.
whatever. And but I do, before every single reading, I have at least 5 to 10 minutes where I sit
Yeah.
down and I tune in and I go, what's going on with Jane? What's
Yeah.
going on with Jane? And I'll write some things down. Sometimes I pull cards, and sometimes that's when I'll be like, her grandmother. Whoa, mama, mama, mama. And then that a lot of times is the jumping off point when we start the reading. But a lot of times in readings, it'll just start happening. I'll be like, who's the woman who was 6 feet tall and blah 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 blah. She'll be like, oh, that's my grandmother, or that's my aunt, or, you know, I don't know. So I think it's very, it's not an exact science.
It's not. And it's like the one thing I've noticed are the people that have committed suicide are the ones that come through. They are much more, they want to be heard. They want to make that connection. They have more of a, I guess I would describe it as an urgency. So the ones that come to me ahead of time with that urgency
Mm-hmm.
frequently have committed suicide.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah,
And
I think that.
even like last night, I was sitting in the car waiting for my son, and I was watching like these little families, little soccer families, and then I started picking up, oh, somebody's here, somebody that's crossed over is here, and they're showing me. It's so funny, and I was like, okay, well, I didn't pursue it because what am I going to go around the cars? I think I know what car it was, but anyhow, they were showing me how there was something about like putting like little bows. They used to put little bows in their hair when they were little. It's so weird, like how they just want to, they know that we're open,
Random.
and they just they want to make that connection. It was so funny.
Yeah, it can be so random. I mean, I
So
think that's so
random.
funny. And those are usually the most random things. I'm not sure, Paul, if you get this, but a lot of times you'll get the most random thing. And our job is only to give what we get, right? So we
Yes.
just like give what we get. I'm like, there's a woman tying bows, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so many times you're like, you have no idea. Sometimes it makes sense. You're like, oh, it's a grandmother who was dressing her granddaughter, da, da, da,
Yeah.
da. But other times it is like it's a bow tire, and you will say something like that, and the person will be like, what? And you'll be like, I don't know, tying bows. And they'll be like,
Yes.
oh my God, that's how I connect with her, because she used to tie bows in my hair all the time, or whatever happens to be.
Yeah. It's so bizarre. It is so random. It's
I
so
love
random.
that. I love that. It's so fascinating. And I am, as you are, we are really skeptical.
Yeah.
We're pretty
Absolutely.
skeptical, you know. And there's stuff that, you know, I definitely want to watch that show on Netflix, like
It's
you said.
good. I
Yeah.
mean, it's good because it made me kind of think, like, I want to believe that the lady in Holland is real, is truthful, but it's so funny because the way the TV show was, like, up until that point, I was like, yeah, I believe that she's truthful. But then after that guy says, but you can find everything on Facebook and you can find everything, blah blah blah, I was like, ooh, yes, that's true. So, but I don't want to think that she,
I know, but that's our
right?
ego. I think that's our ego. We want to believe. And I think that a lot of people, a lot of the charlatans in the world, they play on that thing of our natural, I think a lot of people's natural human tendency is want to believe. And I think that it's really important that we step back and go, okay, well, maybe like for you right now, it's like, maybe I should let go of that. Maybe she is. I don't know. Maybe, maybe you'll never
Well,
know.
and look at, I mean, it looks like I'm going to do this, but a TV show where it is going to like like a big TV show goes to like a crime scene type thing. But then that's the piece. It's like, after I do what I do on this TV show, it will possibly be presented in the same way. Like, you know, like, how do we know that she didn't like research everything? Well, anybody that knows me knows I'm lazy. And so, I mean, like, I'm not gonna, like, anybody that knows me knows I'm not gonna.
I'm here to attest that Polly is not going to do a lot of research and interview a
No,
lot of
I would
people.
pay,
She's not going to do that.
I would have to pay somebody to do the research, and then
Oh yeah,
it's just not going to happen.
not going to happen. Not going to happen for sure. Michelle, is that right? The proof is that she's lazy. So
It's true.
good.
I'm not. There's just
So
no.
good.
There's no way. I'm always going to be like, nope. I think I'm just going to go for it.
Listen, I have been doing this work for years and years and years, and you have too. I mean, since I was young, I can't even imagine being
Mm-mm.
like, oh, I'm just going to use our friend Michelle on my books and her last name. I'm not going to say her name.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go on Facebook, Michelle blank, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah. What is she?
Exactly.
I'm like, whoa. Well, you know what? I think charlatans do that. They do that. Or they have a team of people or somebody that does that for them and goes, okay, talk about the yellow dog and talk about the White House and talk about the divorce in 1947. And you know what? If you can get a couple of those things.
But after a certain age, anyhow, for me, I wouldn't be able to do that because I'd be forgetting and mixing everything up. I'd be mixing Joe's stuff up with the
Well,
show.
not if you were like Peter Popoff, who told you, who
Oh,
had the
right.
little thing, and your husband was in the back going, talk about the yellow dog. Talk about the yellow dog. And you're like, yellow dog. Is there a yellow dog? There's an acting kind of thing going on there. You got to act like, and listen, this is like, blows me out of the water because I'm a trained actor. So I'm a pretty good actor. So I could make someone believe anything. Really, I could. But, that just like calls me out. Listen, no one's ever said, oh, well, he's an actor. So, but it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. I know that, and you're the same way. It doesn't matter. We know we're coming from the right place.
Yeah,
And the right people are going to come to us. So it doesn't matter.
I think it's interesting. I just think it's interesting, right? And I just think when I was watching that last night, yeah, it's just interesting. It's just interesting. I mean, there are people with flipping amazing talents. There just are. There are like amazing talents.
And
Amazing.
there's people that were freaking amazingly talented bullshitters.
Yeah.
That are really good at it. That are really good. So good that you don't even know. And so good that, and they carry it on through their whole life. I mean, listen, wink, wink. I've met quite a few of those people that are like, wow, they're bullshitting. Wow. And you just get it. You're like, oh my God, it's all an act. It's all a show. It is all a show. And they have lots of people that believe them, that pay them lots of money. I'm like,
so okay. I think, one thing that the guy did, which I think is true. I mean, it's not a bad way to go. Like, each time he did one of these, like he set up one of these readings, he would have in his mind, like, for example, if she really connects with my dad, I want her to say something about my hair.
Oh, yeah.
So something
Mhm.
that's like so random. And I think that's the other thing. Is it whatever, if like I think that the information you get in the reading, there has to be something so random that nobody would know.
That's
Something
right.
so random that, and pay attention to the way you feel.
And that's why I always, as you know, I've always been trained, but well, after I did get training after I already did this stuff, but I was always trained to be like, if you even get a wisp of one tiny little thing, go there.
Yeah.
Go there, because a lot of times that little wisp of a tiny little red feather or whatever,
Yeah.
sometimes that is the thing that is the thing. So, and it's not pre-planned at all, at
It
all.
it's not pre-planned. I mean, and I think, yeah, there's no planning for this. There's none. There's
No,
none. And it's
no.
like, them coming up, for example, one that I just did the other day, like the word sharp, right? Like, so that person using the word sharp, like,
Mhm.
there's no way that I would have been able, I don't know how long he's been
Right.
dead, but there's no way I would have been able to be like, okay, figure out that this gentleman used the word sharp. Like that was his
Right.
vocabulary.
Like that was on Facebook.
Right. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. My uncle used to say the word sharp all the time. I found it, whatever it is.
right.
I think I mean, it is just so fascinating because if we don't, um, what was my point? I had another point that just flew out of my mind, which it just shows you I can't depend on my mind either.
Exactly.
Can't depend on my mind either. Um, but it is this kind of thing where, and people in the comments are saying, dealing with charlatans is a spiritual community, and we can all relate. Dealing with plagiarism is a kind of thing in many professional realms, and some people are just excellent professional liars. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Speaking of professional liars, listen, my background in acting, when I'm a really good improver. Like improv is
Oh,
really important. I'm really good at it. And I've always said that my acting training has helped me in my spiritual readings
oh, for sure.
because you have to say yes all the time. You have to go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm a dog. That's what I'm doing. Da, da, da. You have to. There's a part of your brain that gets really used to getting an idea and running with it. Get an idea, run with it. Get an idea, run with it. And so I think that my training as an actor has really helped me, but it hasn't helped me act. It's helped me receive information and then go with it. And I
Well,
think
it's
that that's
also helped
something that
you.
trying to teach people is very hard.
It's also helped you present, right? Because
Yes.
you're quite comfortable presenting in front of the camera,
Yep.
or right. You just go into that role. Like
Yep,
that's,
for sure.
so that definitely has helped you.
But
And
don't you've
maybe that's
trained people, and isn't the thing about accepting the information, then getting it out, uh, a a skill that's hard for some people to get?
absolutely.
You
But
have it. You're
yeah,
able to
but
do it.
it's like, the way I have seen the people that take my classes, oh my God, like in just a few months, the way how much they have improved, or
Yeah.
whatever we want to call it, it's amazing
Yeah.
to me.
But
It really is amazing.
and it's all about teaching them what? Trust.
Yeah.
It's all about teaching them to trust. Yep, for sure. Yeah, it's such an interesting thing, and so, yeah, that's a great conversation. I love it. Let's see what it says. Michelle says improv is hard. Not when you get good at it, it becomes really easy. It's really fun, actually. Kara says, I saw a medium and I could tell she didn't know what an amazing reading she gave.
Hmm.
That's a good sign,
Yeah,
actually. It's a good sign. It does come down to trust, for sure.
it does. And the way yeah, trust in the way you feel. And
Hmm.
I mean, not everybody is open to paying attention to like the energy around them, or the way they feel around a certain person. Maybe they see different, maybe that's not their strongest sense. But if it is one of your strongest senses, pay attention to, like, how does the energy
Yeah.
change when they start connecting with your loved one, or how does the room start changing? Like, even
You
if it's
can
just a
feel
psychic
it.
reading, how do
You
you
can feel
feel?
it. Hmm.
Does it
Okay.
feel good?
I love it. Okay, we're gonna have to start wrapping up. Sorry,
Yeah,
because I've got
perfect.
things. But I just pulled a card randomly, and I have to show you what it is. It's so good. I love this new mermaid deck, and we're talking about psychic things and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, look what it is.
Visions.
Visions, and it's all about psychic
Oh
ability
my God,
and
that's so funny.
seeing, clairvoyance, and seeing things and psychic ability. Now, listen, I didn't plan that. It just came out. So, you know what? Everyone that's listening to this or watching us right now, trust your vibe, trust your vision, trust it, follow it because you are being guided. That's the way that Polly and I do our work. we're
Yeah,
we're being guided somehow, and we just trust. We go, okay, we're going to go there. Boom, let's go there. So
absolutely.
but I mean, Polly, you agree with this. The ideas and the things we're talking about right now, it doesn't just apply to mediumship or psychic
Oh no,
ability. It applies to living your life.
it does.
For sure.
It's
For
like,
sure.
when something out of the ordinary happens, whatever it is, pause and ask, what is this about?
Yeah, I
Right?
agree.
Or is there something deeper than, because I mean, it can go two ways where we pause too much and we're like almost paralyzed because we think everything is this
Oh, yeah.
riveting meaning, right? But
Mhm,
but
mhm.
typically most of us are pretty, you know, forward moving people. And so when something happens, take the pause and see, is there something more to this?
For sure. For sure. All right. I'm aware of time. So I love that topic. Thank you so much, Polly.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's great. And I'll watch the show and I'll let you know.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good. I mean, I'm only part way done, but it's good.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I think there's one or two episodes. My friend's like, you got to watch this one. I was like, okay. Um, can to wrap up, Kara says, I can't not trust. Ooh, that's beautiful. I love it. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
it
I
is
seriously
good.
needed to hear this. Hello, Pablo. Good to see you. Polly, say hello to Pablo.
I saw Pablo there. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
Great to see you, everybody. And if you're listening to the podcast, Pablo is one of the incredible I don't even know what the title is, but he keeps everything running here with Peter on HAPS, and they're really wonderful people. So please come over to HAPS, and it's just a beautiful community here. So, all right, everybody. So, Polly, make sure that everyone knows how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, so you can find out more about me on my website, which is pollywyron.com. You can read my blogs on Your Tango or soulspring.org. But yeah, and Max, I'm just thinking that in the future, you and I need to do like some type of little retreat. Not be the guest, but be the host.
Well, of course. Yeah, of course we do.
So fun.
I have a retreat coming up in 2 weeks that I'm
But
doing,
a
Course in Miracles
physical,
retreat.
like
Oh, yeah.
go to the beautiful, serene.
Well, I'm getting my shot today,
Yes.
so everything is going to change for sure. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's good. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to know more about me, you can go to attractpositiveresults.com. And just a programming note is that tomorrow, if you're listening to the podcast, it might not be a little late, but tomorrow on Insight Timer, I'm now able to do live streams, and they don't save them, so you have to be there live. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., I'm doing an introduction to A Course in Miracles on Insight Timer. Follow me there, and we're doing a beautiful meditation that's based on one of the lessons in A Course in Miracles. So that's at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So I'm excited about that. All right. Well, Polly, have an incredible, wonderful Arizona day.
Awesome, you too. Good luck on your shot, and everybody enjoy the jewels of the day.
I love it. We love jewelry. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.